Salutations, crustaceans. I'm Lobster, and today we're taking a look at a Sterling by Man Ray4 SUB modified with a Bartolini pickup and 3-band preamp. Let's check it out. This is a Sterling by Man Ray4 SUB, and I've modified it with a Bartolini MMC4 original bass pickup, as well as a Bartolini NTMB HR3.4 FL preamp. I think that's it. Essentially, this is very similar to the preamp that you used to get in the Lakland basses before they switched over to their in-house pickups and preamps. However, unlike the Lakland basses, which had 2 dip switches in the control cavity to allow you to switch between 4 different mid targets, this only gives you 2 different mid targets with a push-pull knob for the mid control. And those are 800 Hz and 250 Hz. So a bit different than the Aguilar and the Nordstrand that we've tested thus far that have the similar feature. Pricing-wise, this pickup sits between the Nordstrand and the Aguilar pickup at $116, where the Aguilar is $119 and the Nordstrand is $114. For the preamp, this is actually the second most expensive preamp next to the John East. Sitting at a hair under $200 at $196, this is an expensive preamp, and you don't even get a variable mid-sweep, unlike the John East, which does give you that as well as a bunch of other features. This pickup, the EMG pickup, as well as the stock Ray24 pickup are the only ceramics here. Everything else is Alnico. But don't let that fool you. This is a really good sounding pickup. Let me show you. You guys know what you need to do. Go ahead and hit that like button so my hand will turn back to normal. Thanks. Yeah, this sounds really nice. This MMC original bass pickup just has a really nice tone to it, a beautiful tone. I don't know, the tone of this pickup is just very clear and honest, and I dig it. I really like this pickup. The preamp though, with that really high price tag, I'm not really sure if it's worth it. I did have to modify the control cavity quite a bit to get this to fit in there, and even then it barely fit. Getting it to fit in here was actually quite a challenge, and I would not really recommend tossing in this 3-band preamp into a Stingray. It was a major pain, and yeah, don't do it. Don't do what I did. Learn from my mistakes. Though it sounds nice, the high price tag and lack of compatibility with smaller control cavities, something like this, makes it a not so great value in my opinion. That, combined with the lack of any real mid-sweep, makes me question the $200 price tag on this preamp. So here's the preamp centered one more time. Very nice. Now let's go ahead and cut the preamp entirely, see what that sounds like. Just like a variable mid sweep, this push-pull mid knob, which gives you access to two separate mid frequencies, only really functions when you're either boosting or cutting the mids. Since we have the mids cut right now, let's see what that sounds like. So here's the stock 800 Hz setting. And then here's the 250. It's a big difference. We'll check that out in a bit more detail when we take a look at this mid control. But first, let's check out this treble and bass. So here's the bass centered with everything else cut. And here's the bass control at 50%. And let's pull the mid knob to check that out. Now let's go ahead and cut the bass and bring the treble up to center. And let's bring the treble up to 50%. And let's pull the mid knob and see what that sounds like. Okay, let's go ahead and cut the bass and treble and bring the mids up to center. And here's the mids at 50%. And let's go ahead and pull the mid knob to target that 250 Hertz. Not bad. Now let's go ahead and bring the treble and the bass back up to center, and let's cut the mids 50% and check that out real quick. And let's pull the mid knob one more time. Not bad. Now let's bring the mids back to center and see how she slaps. Pretty good, pretty good. And finally, let's see what this sounds like with some drums behind it. So here are my final thoughts on the Bartolini combo. That's the Bartolini NTMB 3.4 FL, I think, and the Bartolini Original Bass MMC 4 pickup. The pickup I like a lot. It's fairly priced, it sits right between the Nordstrand and the Aguilar, and I think it sounds great. It's an easy drop-in replacement, and I believe this pickup does give you access to both leads and both grounds, so you can wire this in series or parallel. The preamp, on the other hand, was much more of a hassle. Stock, it does come with a volume knob that's stacked, and to get this to work with the Stingray, I actually had to remove that knob and install a single volume knob and wire that accordingly. On top of that, the preamp module itself is rather large and would not fit in the Stingray control cavity without modification. A Sterling, however, would definitely accept this no problem because the control cavity is a lot larger and in the back, but the Stingray did not have a fun time with this. And even after I routed out a fair bit of material to get it to fit, it barely fit, and the control plate is barely on there. I mean, it's on there and it's secure, but it's a tight fit, is what I'm saying. As I mentioned earlier, this pickup is only one of two aftermarket ceramic pickups that we're looking at in this series, the other being the EMG. There's a third, and that's the stock Ray4 CA pickup. However, you really can't buy that, so. As for the preamp features, I think that this thing is fairly lacking compared to the competition. This is the second most expensive preamp out of all the preamps that we're looking at. That's 8 preamps. The most expensive being the John East preamp, and that comes with a load of bells and whistles. The next most expensive under this is the EMG preamp, and that has a variable mid-sweep as well as 2 dip switches to give you different treble targets for the treble control. So even that one has more options. So I really don't think we can justify the nearly $200 cost of this preamp in this configuration. Now the Bartolini preamp does come with knobs, but they're not good knobs. I also have to have the pots sitting fairly high to get them to sit in the control cavity with the little preamp module. So the stock pots would look kind of silly. I ended up using some aftermarket pots and just the stock pot up here for the treble control. It looks weird, but you know, it is what it is, and it works. There's no pots getting stuck or anything. It does a good job. So overall, I'd say this pickup is a very nice pickup. I mean, you heard it. It sounded great. The preamp, on the other hand, though it is a nice preamp, I don't think is well suited for the Stingray application. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like, subscribe, join our Discord, and leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think about my Sterling SUB equipped with a Bartolini pickup and 3-band preamp. And as always, until we groove again,